In this video, I will share the exact framework of how to scale your brand to 7 figures and beyond, guaranteed. By now, I've applied this framework to over 30 brands across different industries, and it worked over and over again. For example, when this jewelry brand came to me, they were making around 50k per month, but after just 29 days of applying our framework, they were already at 75k per month with a ROAS of over 3 consistently. Here's another one, they were making 230k per month with a ROAS of around 2, which wasn't profitable for them. And after my framework, they were making 256k per month in revenue, and that on a ROAS of 5. And here's another one, a fashion brand from the US. They were making around 560k per month before, and after just 60 days, they were at 861k per month with a much lower customer acquisition cost. And here even a smaller brand making around 5k pounds per month. Within 5 months of applying the framework, their revenue literally 10x to 52k per month with a ROAS of 2.85. And in this video, I will share my framework and the exact steps you have to follow to do the same for your brand. Now, to scale your brand, you first have to understand why you or other brands are not scaling. And having heard many people's stories and what they exactly do, and having audited many accounts, I can tell you exactly why. So basically, we have 2 things that we have to get correct to scale with Facebook ads. The first thing is the media buying. So what brands are getting wrong here is, first of all, they usually have no scientific split testing structure. They have no consistent launch schedule. They have a messy ad account structure and don't really know what aligns with the best practices on Facebook. And they don't track the entire funnel, which basically means that you don't know exactly if something is working, why it is working, or if it's not working, why it's not working. It might be the conversion rate, it might be your offer, it might be even the color of your creative, like many different things that you can find out if you run a scientific split testing structure, if you launch creatives consistently, because only then you have actually enough time and opportunities to test your hypotheses. And of course, also, if you don't know your numbers, you can't exactly optimize and you can't scale without much risk. So overall, the main problem is that they have no clear or proven framework to scale, and that is simply because they haven't ever done it at that level before. You only know exactly how to do it once you have done it at least once. Now let's also take a look at the ad creative side and what can go wrong here. Usually I see that brands that struggle to scale have no strategic creative strategy that allows them to scale. For example, first looking at the first customer persona, or they don't even have a customer persona, then going to the second one, to the third one, and so on. Because if you want high performing ad creatives, you have to know exactly who you are advertising to and exactly what the problems are, exactly why they buy your products, and exactly why they prefer your product over a competitor product. And also, if you know all those different groups of people that buy from you for their own reasons and how they live and what their problems are and what their desired states are, the reason why they buy your product, then you need to have a clear creative strategy. Okay, I go first for this group of people because they are most profitable, they are the biggest ones, they have the most burning desire, and this is why they would buy. Then once we have scaled really big there, we go next to this group of people, then this group of people. And that way you keep adding different customer segments in which you scale with different ads, with different messaging, and this is how you scale with your ad creatives. And based on that, you also want to have aligned messaging. This basically goes back to marketing fundamentals like awareness level and sophistication level. And as you know, every customer persona has their own awareness and sophistication level, and your ad creatives have to be aligned with those awareness and sophistication level. To give you an example, if you're selling, let's say, protein powder, you can't sell this protein powder with a promo ad to someone who doesn't even know that they need protein to grow muscles. So this is an example of how it's extremely ineffective to advertise. And this is basically what would happen if you use aware messaging to target a not product aware, but only problem aware person. For example, a person who notices that, hey, I'm not growing muscles as fast as I should, as fast as my friends, but I don't know why, and they don't know why they need protein for that. So you have to align your ad creatives with the awareness and sophistication levels of your target audience, depending on which segment you're currently going for. Another thing that brands that struggle to scale are often missing is the know-how of multiplying winning ads. Because once you have struck gold and you have a winning ad, you can do a lot of it, really a lot, to basically multiply your amount of winning ads and scale much, much faster. For example, let's say you have a winning static ad with a winning headline, then you can just take this headline and test it as a hook of a video ad. After some iterations, you might receive a winning video ad. Then you can take this video ad and, let's say, recreate it with content creators of different ethnicities. And by doing that, those ads again resonate with different segments of your audience, and this again creates even more winning ads for you. So it's really a creative flywheel effect, and you want to leverage that as much as possible. And this is how you scale, not necessarily through the first tests, but through all the iterations and all the winning ads that you get from the information of just one winning ad. Also, another big reason why I see brands failing to scale is because they have no consistent content creators. This is really key, because if you have something that works well, for example, a winning ad, but the hook rate is low, you want to iterate it and add a stronger hook to it. And also you just want to keep testing fresh content, fresh angles every single week. And if you don't have a consistent pipeline of new content coming in, following a creative strategy and exact briefs, then you can't really scale, but you're basically just gambling ads and looking if something will work or not. Now, after having taken a look at the problems, let's look at the solutions. So if you have the following things and the product market fit, you can be sure that you will scale to 7, 8 figures or whatever the cap of your market is. The first thing that you want to build is a roster of consistent and high quality content creators, because in the end this is what represents your brand, and you need good footage and UGC content and all other types of content to just be able to test all your ad concepts to make use of the creative flywheel and everything else. So a roster of consistent content creators that can deliver high quality content every single week is a must. Now the second thing that you need is an ad creative team. If you're just starting out, you can also do that by yourself, but basically what you need is someone to create the whole creative strategy and having an overview of, okay, now it makes sense to target this kind of customer persona. Okay, the ads should have this awareness level and this sophistication level. Okay, after scaling in this, we should do this and this with the winning ad to create even more winning ads. So the creative strategy and creative direction extremely important, and it should be strategic and structurized and not just random, so that you can scale guaranteed. Then, as already mentioned, it's all about targeting the lowest hanging fruits and then adding more and more so that you can scale in the beginning as fast as possible. For example, identifying the easiest iterations that will lead to success with the highest probability, and then moving over to test lower and lower probability tests and ads so that you have the biggest jump in scale in the beginning and then keep going systemized. And then of course the back end, also the editing team and a graphic designer, just some people who understand, okay, if we have a graphic, how can we lead the attention of the consumer from hook to the different conversion element to the curiosity to actually click on it? Or if it's a video, okay, how can we use clips that hook the consumer as much as possible and then retain them as much as possible? So basically the skill here is direct response editing. Now this is on the ad creative side, and on the media buying side, you need a proven framework to scientifically split test those ad creatives and hypotheses that you make and derive learnings from every single test so that you can gather more and more information. And so the hit rate being winning ads divided by the amount of ads tested, to keep this hit rate as high as possible, but also just a strategy that aligns with the best practices on Meta to get the best ROAS and the lowest customer acquisition cost from the ad creatives that you have. And then of course also a solid optimization and scaling strategy to make sure that you don't have crazy performance drops or performance spikes and then you don't have enough inventory, but to scale sustainably and profitably. Now, as you already see, building the system can take some time. If you want to build it all yourself and master all those skills throughout years, this is fine. I'm sure you will get to your goal if you do it systematically. Now, you might be thinking you can also do the same by hiring a freelancer or an in-house team. But the truth is, when auditing brands' ad accounts, I have seen so many brands working with some freelancers that didn't really know what they were doing. And because of that, scaling was extremely slow, and that was the best case. In the worst case, I just saw that with the current approach that they have, they would never get to their goal. For example, that was the case with this cycling brand that I got from 5K to 50K per month within 5 months by applying the correct framework. Now, hiring experts and building a whole in-house team to do this for you is another option. But as even Alex Hormozi said it, it's the best to first work with someone who has this proven framework and team to scale and learn from them before building your own in-house team. Because otherwise you might just end up paying a bill of 10 grand every month for your in-house team that is neither well systemized nor has the entire framework to get the results you're looking for. So if you want to speed up building this expertise and building this entire team and this right framework that that can get your brand to 7, 8 figures or even beyond. And if you want to work with a team that has scaled dozens of brands to 7 or some even to 8 figures over and over, feel free to schedule a call with me in the first link in the description, because this is exactly what I do and how I help brands. In case you want to hear what some of our partners has said after working with us, here you go.
Hey, we have been working with Either Ads for at least 3 months now. Before we got started with them, our creative process was all over the place. But since Ether Ads William and Gary has took over our creative process, our results have improved. We could scale our budget at least 20%, not just maintaining ROAS, but even improving with them, make even more profit than before. Yeah, our life is easier now. It's creatives is one of the most important pillars of DTC ECOM.
Hi, my name is Johnny Hickey, and I work on the marketing at Perfect White Tea. We are a women's apparel company located in Los Angeles. We had a problem with our Facebook ads. Most of our growth has always been centered around Facebook ads. We've always done pretty well with them. And I noticed that the CPAs were rising and that we were overall having poor performance in the account. I've been aware of William Cast and Aether for a good amount of time because I track things like that. So I knew that if we were having trouble with creative, we would reach out to them. They also run ad accounts and source UGC creators. So we're not a big UGC brand. It wasn't something I was going to take on internally. So we hired them to round up some UGC. I let go of the ad agency that I was working with and had them take over running the account, setting up the ads, running the structure. In about 45 days, our account was in 6s with MER, and we were doing great, and they've done a great job. So we plan to keep William from Aether around as long as he keeps doing what he's been doing. And I would highly recommend them, to give them a shot if you're having trouble with creatives.
So if you want a strategic framework to scale your brand, a pipeline of high-performing ad creatives flowing into your ad account every single week, and data-driven ads management that ensures the best ROAS and the best customer acquisition cost from your ad creatives, I can do this for you. If you want to talk to me about it, again, schedule a call with me, first link in the description. Cheers.